I wanted to make a quick video, a reflection on prayer, especially for mothers. A prayer rule that's been inspired by Hannah and St. John Chrysostom's homily on Hannah. Hi, my name is Josette and I'm a mom and I've studied Orthodox theology. I want to bring you clarity about the faith, Orthodox theology, biblical interpretation to your domestic church at home. You know, sometimes we can't keep up. We've got sick children or, we're homeschooling. There's just no time to keep up with our prayer rules. The story of Hannah from the Old Testament, specifically from 1 Kings, and also the homily of St. John Chrysostom on Hannah. She is the mother of the prophet and priest Samuel, who eventually brings on King David. Now, Hannah, who's married to a man called Elkanah, she was his very loved wife, but unfortunately she could not give him children, very similar to Sarah, Abraham's wife. And he had a second wife and her name was Peninnah. Now, Sarah couldn't have children, but of course she really wanted one and she suffered through childlessness. One of the things that she did was she went to the tabernacle. At the time there was no temple, it was still a tabernacle. And she prayed and she vowed to the Lord God and said, "O Lord my God of Sabaoth, if you're looking, look with favor upon the lowly state of your handmaiden. And remember me, I pray you, give your handmaiden a seed of men, a son, and I will dedicate him before you as a gift until the day of his death. He will not drink wine nor intoxicating drink, and no razor shall come upon his head." St. John Chrysostom highlights that Hannah, through her experience and suffering of childlessness, suffered depression. It's very interesting the way John writes about Hannah as if he was a fly on the wall, watching her, listening to her and feeling her every feeling. And he knew intensely how she felt, and he talks about the way she prayed and the way she felt depressed. Now, I want to reflect on what he says about prayer. Both Christ and Paul bade us make brief and frequent prayers at short intervals. You see, if you extend your prayers to great length, without paying much attention in many cases, you will provide the devil with great security in making his approach, tripping you up and distracting your thoughts from what you are saying. He later talks about how Hannah's prayer and vow was a cry raised inside. This is the particular mark of a distressed soul, giving evidence of prayer not in volume, but in ardor of mind. So if you think about, our own personal experiences, and I, for one, I confess that there's been many times when I would try to sit through the divine liturgy, or I'm at home, praying, and my mind wanders, all of a sudden, and it's very uncontrollable, but my mind will wander. What am I going to cook? What groceries do I need? So I'm in the middle of a prayer and then these thoughts come to my mind. And it would often make me feel so guilty, so upset and disappointed within myself that how can I not get through my prayer without having all these thoughts? Well, St. John gives us this relief that making our prayers short and frequent instead of long-winded helps us to control our thoughts. If we sit and pray with, this long-winded philosophical sort of, prayer to God, then we are allowing our mind to wander. So make it short. Make it short and meaningful. Allow your soul to be in connection with your mind. Make every word count. Cry from the inside. Now, when Hannah was doing her prayer, it was a very short prayer, and she wasn't saying it out loud. She was moving her lips, but no sound was coming out of her mouth. She was sitting there. There was a priest known as Eli, and he could see her, and he actually thought she was really drunk. So he confronts her and says to her, "For how long will you remain drunk? Cast off your wine and go out from the face of the Lord." I mean, how mean is that? Like, the woman is suffering as it is. She's struggling. She's probably getting bullied by her husband's other wife, Peninnah, for, not for being barren and not being able to give him children. And now on top of this, she's praying. She's trying to pray. And there's the priest, he's sitting there and he's, kind of mocking her. But then Hannah Hannah responds and says, "No, Lord, I am a woman for whom this day is difficult. I drank neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but I pour my soul out before the Lord." She said, not "I am praying to God, beseeching God," but "I am pouring out my soul before the Lord." That is, I directed myself completely to God. I cleared my mind of everything but Him. I made my prayer with all the force of my soul. I told God of my calamity, and I laid bare my wound to Him, He being in a position to apply the remedy. St. John Chrysostom is reminding us, why not commit ourselves, our anxiety, our mind and our soul to the Lord? Pray with your mind clear. Pray with the full force of your soul from the inside. As St. John Chrysostom says in the Letter of Divine Ascent, prayer is the mother and daughter of tears.